What's cooking, my festive friends? 'Tis the season, and I'd like to tell you a Christmas story, starring the decidedly unjolly Beast Machine's Tankor. Now, when I was a young warthog, there was nothing better than a Transformer for Christmas. Some of my best festive memories include waking up before sunrise to unwrap my long-coveted iron hide, getting my tiny mind blown by Road Grabber's explosive neon bulk, yapping my mum's friend's ear off on the bus into town to spend my Santa cash on Motormaster, and bugging the shit out my auntie with my very chatty G2 Megatron. Good times. But it soon tapered off as the 90s rolled on. Teenage Thew got into teenage shit, and Beast Wars just wasn't on my radar. When there's a new angsty metal record out, what chance has Cheetor got? So we moved on, and Crimbo Robos became a thing of the past. Except, there was one year around 98, 99, when I found myself seized with a yearning to rekindle that feeling. I'm a big lad, I've completed Siphon Filter, I'll do what I want. So I gathered up my Argos coupons and minced off to see what was going on Cybertron. And that was the day I met Tankor. Fair to say, this gnarly, hard-edged brute certainly spoke to my insecure adolescent ass. Subtlety is not on the menu today, gang. Tankor is about as meathead as it gets. A roiling mass of high-tech hate. A seething crucible of blind, ugly violence that definitely puts the machine in Beast Machines. And the Beast, actually. Anyway, character stuff. Info dump me do, daddy. So as I understand it, Tankory Taylor here was the Beast Machine's new season edgy boy incarnation of poor old Rhinox, whose spirit was forcibly transplanted from his soft boy mammal bod into a villainous Viacon, his spark imprisoned like a burner SIM card inside an unfeeling murder bot until his very soul was twisted to Megatron's whims.
This is a pretty hardcore origin story.
But you'll notice this figure barely represents the Tankor from the show. Our boy's a bit of an interesting anomaly in the Transformer world, in that he was made using unfinished concept art from way early on in pre-production before the final design was changed beyond recognition. I mean, that's pretty cool, right? They do that shit on purpose now. This is Studio Series Concept Art Edition 25 years ahead of the game. And honestly, for me, it's a way fiercer fit. There's so much personality packed into this pinchy punk. So if it truly was an accident, I'd say it's not a happy one. A badass accident. A badass accident. Yes, indeed. Tankor is a man made of murder. Every inch of this heaving horror show is either hot, heavy, or sharp. Blades, claws, unyielding solid surfaces, the visible heat of his internal rage motor. He's like if hostile architecture had a face. And what a face! Like, what's the opposite of friend-shaped? Just the coldest, heartlessest machine head in the kingdom. A pointy, inhuman helmet injected with laser light piping blinkered into a single searching electric eye box. That's the coolest thing I've ever seen. Check this optional ponytail head cone that locks into the backpack to show off this ominous hexagonal hazard symbol. Love that the massive shoulder cannon sways cockily along with his head swivel. You know what's up. Torso's relatively small and tight for such a beefy boy. Just a black angular core holding the show together and showing off some striking status symbols. Like, just try not to clock the central hexa medallion. This titty looks like it's got guns in it, and is that a speaker? Don't know if I love that dreary but mechanically necessary central tum flap slouching out like a flabby singular ab with a distracting visible hinge. It is what it is. We deal. Anyway, the legs are very Tesco value, no frills, basic and utilitarian. Just teeny tiny thighs wedged into massive weighty slabs emblazoned with warning tats like a venomous reptile, and extreme alien tread assemblies flippantly stashed aside. Never been totally sure if these toes move. Like, the screw looks like it could hinge, but they don't seem keen on budging, and I am not his boss. But it's the arms that really define this gruesome grunt's vibe. Again, the bit that attaches to the body is very meager. They exist purely for connective and peacocky panel storage purposes, but this is the business end right here. Humongoid megaliths of cast iron chaos writhing with circular saws and vicious claws, plus bonus port-passing screw holes for optional additional mayhem. Steady, and I sincerely mean this, on. Articulation's surprisingly decent and all. Fit to burst with ball joints and bidirectional hinges and even a bit of a waist waggle. Even if it is constantly cock-blocked by the back bulk, he can still bust a move. 'Cause 90s. And the colors are so good here. I'm very glad we got this version of Tankor. I don't think it would have worked in blue. Man looks cold enough wearing these barren blacks and industrial greys, and the orange end of the color wheel really brings out the turmoil and frustration that churns within. Tankor is, with affection, such a creature. You gotta admire a guy who commits to his role. And when it comes to being a big horrible bastard, Tankor doesn't just wear the uniform, he is the uniform, whether Rhinox likes it or not. Transformation's characteristically merciless. Like, he fully slams in half and lurches his wretched carapace into some godless inverted prayer position. It's a bumpy old ride, baby. I cannot express how much I adore the monster mind vibes of this tank mode. Yeah, obviously it's a tank. His name isn't Car-Or, is it? Look at it, it's just him again, but flat and long and somehow even more on the attack. The way it slopes forward like a ramp, like a dragster, all techno-animalistic tiger stripes and death machine determination. Look at those treads, all space-age parallelogram poise and inlaid nightmare struts cast in harsh relief. These front-end flame panels are fabulously fearsome, and they can even unfurl like a maw to welcome you to your end in a double saw-bladed embrace. I feel like I'm writing a Slipknot song. And the turret is the totality of terror. It's like the ultimate Beast Machine's meltdown, looking like his own head compacted and sprawled into a spiteful caricature of cruelty, with that stolen, corrupted spark crystal hidden opposite a Viacon-themed hinge for his all-encompassing instrument of pain. That sure is one ferocious fire pipe, clanking angrily, clankrily up and down, and rotating a full 360 if you, twizzle his head, sticking out of his grundle there. Hey, he's got a bit of a sense of humour. So simply hit the user-friendly side-mounted switch and it vomits forth flaming murder in the form of this stylized see-through missile. I don't usually love these, like when they try and dress up a bullet as hokey elemental crap like a flame or a water blast. But I don't mind this one. It's surprisingly subtle for a firebomb, and there's enough clear orange in the mix already that it blends in kinda nicely with the guy.
Anyway, death.
So yes, Beast Machine's Tankor is an absolute menace. This is violence on an industrial scale, an embodiment of malice, born from suffering and built for an existence of remorseless massacre. What I'm saying is, Merry Christmas! Look, I know Tankor's not exactly Santa Claus, Santankors, but to me, he means Christmas. Or at least the bit just after Christmas when there's shit all to do, but the shops are open. And honestly, it was an early prezi to myself this year to just make a video about this one guy. You could not get me to give a shit about the Generations one, or that miserable little basic class tank drone thing. And like, the name Tankor is so throw-aboutable and so rinsed that we'd be here all day. Everybody's Tankor. It was even a running gag in the comics. Who knows how many mini-cons and crowd crammers have been called Tankor? Sometimes Brawl is Tankor. Sometimes Octane is Tankor. Are we gonna drag all his toys into it? No thanks. And let's not forget, Rhinox is Tankor. Not now, lads! I just like this one! Grant me the gift of a slightly easy video. Anyway, thanks for listening. Who's your unexpected festive robot pal? Let me know down below. Cheers for watching, and big thanks to Carl Magus for reconnecting me with my estranged mecha mate. Thanks, Tankor. Thankor. Tankor, wasn't that the thing in Jabba the Hutt's palace? Thanks for watching, gang. Hope we're staying safe out in this dreary December. Big thanks, as always, to all the patrons over here, and a big patron shout out to NKS Productions 96. You're just about older than he is. Party off!
Be sure to subscribe for more Thew's awesome Transformers reviews. Limited appeal, keeping it real.